Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's still April 30th. Can you believe I got that right? It's a little windy, a little chilly, but I just had a couple of things I wanted to say because I think they're important. Some people ask me, what can we do? How do we start organizing? What do we do? Well, you know, anything worthwhile, and they'll tell you this in business classes, of course, anything worthwhile is going to entail some risk. Now, coming out and doing things as individuals or as groups is risky. Of course it is. But what we need are large numbers. But you don't get large numbers until you start with small numbers. So, and that's when it's the most risky, of course. And that's why it's so hard at this stage to get people to try to do things. But I'm going to give you a little encouragement on something. It has to do with contract law, and I mentioned it in the answers or my responses to some of the questions from some of the viewers in the comment area. And I'm going to talk about contract law. You know, when you go sign a contract, there's a thing called full disclosure. In other words, the entity, the corporation, the person presenting you with a contract has to give you all of the terms of that contract. And if they don't, and then they try to enforce some part of it later without that information supplied to you, the contract is null and void. Okay, that's just the way it is. So basically what we can do at this point is say to the government, you have not given us full disclosure of our contract agreements. Why am I bringing that up? One of the commenters on here brought up the 14th Amendment, that we're all 14th Amendment citizens right now. And he has a valid point. So what I'm saying is that if the things that make us citizens of the U.S. rather than citizens of our respective states, and that was all supposedly decided by this 14th Amendment thing, the real bottom line is, were you required, and this is where the full disclosure comes in, are you required to submit, to abrogate, to give up your constitutional Bill of Rights in exchange for your 14th Amendment citizenship? And if you weren't aware of that, that's what they'll tell you, basically, right? If you were not told that, then you did not receive full disclosure, and that contract is null and void. Now, is that a bad thing on the 14th Amendment? It's been spun that that's what protects everybody under the curtain or under the umbrella of the United States, right? No matter what race, religion, color, creed, all those things. In fact, it may, in the long run, have caused us to have a different set of circumstances than we believed that we had. In other words, again, I'm going to say it. If by them instituting the 14th Amendment and everything else that they've done, the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, you know, all of them, I'm not going to sit here and name them all, but you can understand what they are if you look at them. If anything in there even suggests that you give up your rights guaranteed by the Constitution and in the Bill of Rights without full disclosure, which they didn't do, I'll already tell you that, then whatever contracts they have to try to enforce that on you are null and void. So that is where a lot of what I talk about comes from, that it's illegitimate on their part, that they're criminal. Sorry about the wind, it's probably going to block some of this, and I apologize, so I'll speak up. But I think you need to look at that. It's really important. So, you know, things like signing us on to the derivatives debt, you know, without us realizing what was going to happen there. Oh, yeah, I know we have representative government, but that's why they're bound by the Constitution, because if they do anything outside of the Constitution, then full disclosure hasn't happened and it's null and void. Marbury versus Madison explained that in other terms. In that case, they basically said, the court basically said, that anything that does not fall under the Constitution, okay, is prohibited. In other words, if you make a contract, if you make any kind of a law that is outside the bounds of the Constitution, then it's null and void on its inception. I hope that makes sense. Go look up Marbury, M-A-R-B-U-R-Y, versus Madison, and you can read it. Probably Wikipedia will probably have it, and that way you'll get it in kind of a abbreviated form, easy to understand. But that's what I'm talking about this full disclosure. So the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and anything else that falls outside of that, and they try to tell you that it's within constitutional bounds when it's not, because full disclosure hasn't happened, it's null and void. It's risky to do that, okay? It's risky. But if enough people start claiming this and start working with it and pulling that government, whether it's local, county, city, state, or the federal government, pull them back by the chains of the Constitution and say, no, this. You have to do it this way. And if they say, well, no, because of this treaty or that treaty, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And even though treaties are too, they still have to conform. They can't fall outside the purview of the Constitution. Sorry, can't do it. And when they have done that, it's been illegal. Wow. Let's dispel ignorance, everybody. Let's demand an accounting. Let's win hearts and minds. Let's go out here and do this so that no one has an excuse. Educate yourselves. They've been trying to dumb us down for 100 years now. Educate yourself. Stand up for your rights. Argue for your rights aggressively. Then I had another guy say to me, and I think I've mentioned this on these videos before, so I'll just say it real fast. You know, how can we do this? How can we do that? You know, what's this? What's that? I have an old saying, and it's this: specialization is for insects, not human beings, not men and women. We're designed to be multitaskers, understand a great many things. It's an opportunity. It's an adventure. So don't specialize. Generalize. Specialization is for insects. Okay, and I'm going to close on this. In the news today, actually it may have happened yesterday now, I'm not sure. It's been a busy day. There were some missiles, shoulder-fired missiles that were launched at a Russian passenger jet. And of course they're trying to say it was the Syrian government. And here I go again. No, it was not. Those are the same weapons that I've been talking about for some time, that the Obama administration, the whole Benghazi thing, all of that, they took them from Libya, they gave them to the Syrian rebels, some 10,000 of them, and now they're showing up. Okay, that's the kind of missile, or two or three, that were fired at this Russian passenger plane. So here they are showing up. I said they would, and here they are. The problem is they're going to show up in other places around the world. Okay, so just so that you know. Again, not fear-mongering, but awareness. Awareness. Very important. All right, that's all for now. I want to thank you all, and I hope you have a good day, a good morrow, whatever the case is.